Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the very first season of Emily's Adventures to Anywhere. This season we are exploring hauntings and haunted places in and around Northeast Ohio, beginning with today's visit to the Austin Log Cabin in Austintown, Ohio. We were fortunate enough to have been given a tour by the president of the Austintown Historical Society, Mrs. Joyce Pogany, who has heard a lot of the rumors about the cabin but doesn't believe them herself. She gave us a lot of information, which you'll hear bits and pieces of. The audio wasn't great, so I'm going to try to tell you some key points myself, and I highly recommend scheduling a tour if you're going to be in the area at any point in the future. The reason we went for this series of hauntings was to see if we could spot a rumored headless soldier wandering the second floor of the building. We didn't see any while we were there, but I'm counting on you eagle-eyed viewers to take a look at some of the film and let us know if you see any suspicious activity. There was a house built over the frame of the log cabin where people lived until around 1950. In 1973, a church bought the land and was going to tear down the house when they found the log cabin underneath. In 1975, the Austintown Log Cabin was designated a National Historic Landmark, and they've been operating tours since 1976, although the deed didn't officially pass to the Austintown Historical Society until 2008.
They see is when I look in the windows, if they walk around the outside and I look in the windows and I see those two mannequins over there with no heads. Over here we have wool from a sheep right here.
Okay.
And what they do, they would shear the sheep and it would be just like if you were getting a haircut, it wouldn't hurt you at all.
Oh, yeah.
And over here is the comb that they would comb the wool with, this big old
Oh, I got it.
comb.
Yeah.
And then they would put it on the spinning wheel and make a thread come out. And if you knit, you would know that it takes a hank of yarn to knit a baby coat or sweater and a hat.
Okay.
And that is a yarn winder. And when the women would put it on there, when it became a hank of yarn, it would pop. And the nickname for this is
Now, the upstairs of the log cabin contains a recreation of an old schoolhouse, a one-room schoolhouse, which is fascinating and also a little bit creepy in ways which were probably not intended. We didn't see the ghosts, but let's just say I wouldn't want to have been a teacher in the early 20th century. Also, mannequins are creepy.
And if you were bad in school, you would have to sit on a big stool if you were late or something, and then you'd have to wear one of these caps. And this is the school marm, teacher. And over here is a chalkboard.
Looks a little beat up.
It's from a one-room school, so it's very old. As you can see, it's an exact replica of the school, the cabin.
Wow.
And these windows up here, the little windows, you'll see them in older homes. They're called eyebrow windows. If you think of eyebrows, eyebrow windows. And we had an archaeological dig here in 1973 and 74, and Dr. John White from YSU, Youngstown State University, came over, and he had his students do an archaeological dig, and they found this kind of things: a spoon,
Wow.
a bottle,
Are those sunglasses?
sunglasses, a cookie cutter,
Wow.
all kinds of things.
Wow. This is so cool.
And then this is a bedroom, sort of like what if you were in a real log cabin, that you just come up the steps and it'd be a bedroom there. And that's a foot warmer. What they do, they would put coals in there, and they would get it warm, and then they would put the children to bed, and that would be under their feet to keep their feet warm.
Ooh.
Okay, and then we can go down in the basement.
Okay. Well, they said well, I guess they didn't see a face because there's no face because there's no head. But they said they saw the headless soldier from the second story window. And if they were looking in the first
When
floor...
it was built, it had a second story. It didn't have a basement.
Well, they saw that's so they thought they saw a ghost in the second story window with a headless soldier.
Oh.
Yeah. And the mannequins are in the first floor. This is the basement, which is not original to the log cabin, but was hand dug in the 1930s and 1940s, and is now full of old farm equipment. If you want to know more about the Austintown Log Cabin or the Austintown Historical Society, we'll be posting some information down in the description. And again, if you're in the area, be sure to sign up for one of the tours. They give free tours by appointment any day of the week, but they also have an open house from 1 to 4 the first Sunday of every month. So if you're in the area, stop in. Maybe you'll have better luck seeing the ghosts than we did. And join us again next time for another exploration into haunted Northeast Ohio. Thank you, and